Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to talk to you about another method of sort of weathering and panel line accenting, if that's even a word, or highlighting the panel lines on an aircraft model or any other sort of model. And this time it's using enamel paints and white spirit. Like I may have said before in some of my videos, there is no definitive way of doing weathering. It's all down to the person who's doing it, the techniques they prefer, and the tools and consumables they've got on hand as well. So in this one, I find this technique that I'm about to go through gives really good sort of like dirt and rusty sort of effects, and that's what I've called my little bottle here. So this has got white spirit in it, just a home brand white spirit paint stripper sort of thing. And what I've done, I've mixed in 2 enamel paints. So I use 2 Humbrol paints. I use Humbrol, I think it's 33, which is black, and I mix that with Humbrol 160, which is like a red-brown colour, quite a nice rusty colour, and I mix it all in here. I don't have any ratios as to what I actually mix it to, but mix it so it's quite a thin ratio. And once that's done, shake it up and whatnot and leave it to sit for ages. So what will happen is, inside the bottom of there, it almost turns to a sediment inside it. And what I like to do is use that sediment that's built up in the bottom of the tub and bring it up and use that on certain areas. So what I'm going to do is apply this to some areas of the engine, like where the rusty areas would be, where I've chipped it already, which I showed you in a previous video. So sort of apply that scum. You can see it building up on the brush. Put it on some areas here where sandy, dirty sort of crap would build up. Put it around the engine. Sort of like work it in. You see the big blob there. You can always remove it. Get a bit more. Put a bit around there. A bit more on the other engine, somewhere some of the chipping is. Oh, I put too much white spirit on that one. If you put too much white spirit on it, it'll tend to bleed a little bit like that. Almost use capillary action like some other panel line accenting does. So put some scummy brown stuff on there. Build it up on these areas here. I think we'll do a bit on the top as well. Some muddy, sort of sandy grind built up on one side. So that'll do. I'm just going to wash my brush in a little pot of white spirit. You see I've got a lot of Vallejo airbrush pots. They're very useful to keep hold of. I think most modelers will agree, you become a bit of a hoarder. You find a use for any sort of pot or tub or lid. Everything has a use. So using that white spirit, we're going to take a small clean bit of cloth. Now it's starting to dry on the model. I'm just going to put it over the white spirit bottle and rinse a tiny bit onto there. I mean literally the tiniest amount. And similar to any other sort of washing technique, it's exactly the same. I have it on there, we just streak it backwards in the direction of airflow from the aircraft. So as you streak it, look, it has the effect that the airflow going over the wing has sort of like cleared this mud a little bit. Stops it from being such an intense effect as well on the model. There you go, see a nice bit of streaking from that engine there. And then we'll just do a bit from the side here as well. This won't affect any of your paint on the model as long as you've given it a really good gloss coat and allowed it to sit and cure for a long time as well. Sorry, sit and cure for a long time as well. So that's that. That's using what I call sort of like a scum wash. We call it a dirty rust wash, and creating mud or dirty build-up effects on models. This technique can also be used to create sort of muddy footprints inside a cockpit as well, as you can see on this B-17 cockpit. I've applied it already using a stippling action on the cockpit around these areas here where the pilots would have walked with their muddy boots off an airfield. I've also chipped it as well, so like the boots have scuffed up any paint or anything like that. And that's done in a similar method as before, except instead of wiping it off, you leave it on there, you let it build up. See, it's built up on here as well. Zoom in there. You see some brown areas around here where the mud's built up. And same as any other walkway areas. There's some around here. Some on there as well. And it gives a nice, very, very small 3D effect on the model as well. Stops it, instead of just using flat paint and stippling paint onto this area, it actually looks like it's raised up, there's actual mud there. So thanks for watching, and I hope this answers any questions that you guys have about weathering, or has introduced you to a new technique or a new sort of train of thought on how to create muddy effects on a model.